Hi guys, it's Wayne here from Bitspots. I'm joined by JMac.
Hello again.
We're going to play through the Halo Fall of Reach campaign, and this time we're playing scenario 1 called Flight. So we'll show you the board and the scenario and get started.
Okay, so here's the board set up for the first scenario. The story is that a group of Covenant ships have caught a group of cadets training on UNSC vessels unawares. So, given that this is a training exercise and that these are valuable ship assets with not so valuable crew on board, the UNSC's orders are to bug out immediately, whereas the Covenant's orders are to destroy every bit of human scum they can find. Thus, the UNSC are going to gain victory points for every ship they get off either this table edge or that table edge there. This defines a table edge because we didn't have a 4x3 table, so we improvised. The Covenant naturally get a point for every ship they destroy, based on the build rating of the ships destroyed. As this is the first mission, we don't get to use the order dice or the wings or boarding craft sections. This mission is purely to demonstrate the attack and movement system for the ship elements. So, the Covenant automatically gain initiative in this scenario, so these corvettes and that battlecruiser will be going first. Right, so these corvettes are going to move in hard. They're full 9 inches. And this cruiser is going to follow suit, turning and moving full 7 inches. We're going to try and cut off the UNSC avenue of escape on this run. So, we'll open up for plasma lance on the cruiser there, on the CCS. So 12 dice, firepower rating 3 because it's at long range.
Yep.
So, that does 8 dice worth of damage. Because we don't have order dice, we don't have any way to brace or focused attack to re-roll these, so...
Okay, so then I get 3 points of titanium armor.
Yep, and you're able to stop 3 points of damage.
I only stopped 2.
Okay, so 6 points. That's still enough.
Yep, so that is 1 damage on my marathon.
And does it do critical damage? Yes, it does. Nasty opening shot.
Okay. Okay, so now that cruiser has a damage and a vulnerable type.
Right, so our corvettes here are going to fire their plasma torpedoes, which generate 4 dice each, at this guy, because they're in their 12-inch short range, or at least one of them is. So they'll have to roll a separate pool.
Yep.
They also have plasma cannons, which are going to target this one with. For 10-inch short range, they're both out. So they're at long range with those. And then the CCS is going to fire its plasma cannons. It's at long range because it's outside of 10 inches. Plus, it's also a large ship, or it's also a ship firing at an elusive target without the elusive special itself. Ships like the corvettes here, if they fire an elusive target, they themselves have the elusive rule, so they cancel out the bonus. But if a larger ship, typically cruisers, without the elusive rule fires, they take a -1 to their firepower rating. So, we'll start with the plasma torpedoes, targeting these guys here. 4 dice at firepower rating 5 because they're in short range,
Okay.
which doesn't do me any good. That's 4 misses.
Okay.
And 4 dice at firepower rating 4 because the negative for long range plasma is counteracted by the positive for long range missiles. That's still only 1 damage.
Okay, so they didn't do anything.
Nope. The plasma cannons are this one.
Yep.
Firepower 3 because they take a -1 for long range plasma, which does 4 damage. So you get 2 points of titanium armor.
Okay, so... And I stopped 2. So that's enough.
So you get at least 3 damage to damage these arrowhead squadrons.
Yep, because I've got a damage track of 3 for 3.
Alright, so lastly the CCS Now, because it's taking 2 negative modifiers from elusive and long range with plasma, it's down to firepower 2, so any 2s I roll will count as 1s. I didn't roll any anyway, and that's 4 damage, so I might get lucky. I need at least 3 to go through. Nope.
And we stop 2 again.
So the armor held. So that is Covenant's activation over the UNSC.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to activate this frigate squadron, and because they're plucky recruits, they're going to meet the Covenant head on. So they're going to turn and then move straight towards the Covenant.
Very brave recruits.
And this one's just going to stop short of that asteroid field. And then they're going to fire all their Mac dice into him. And then they're going to fire all their missiles at him. Yeah. Oh wait, he can turn, can't he? So he's actually.
Yeah, he can turn ahead of the movement, so
he'll turn like that. So yeah, all their Mac into him, and then all their missiles into.
They'll have to fire at the closest target with missiles.
Yeah, which for these two obviously it's him, but he'll have to shoot him. But that's fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, so we'll just quickly explain how we count up dice for the shots. These frigates in particular in this scenario are the arrowhead formation. You get that formation and the trident in the box. Now the arrowhead, first off, Wayne's going to fire his light Mac, which each base generates 4 dice for. So with 3 ships, he'll be generating 12 dice. And then he'll be following up with his missile batteries, which each generate 2 dice. So because they have the missile special rule, when firing at their front arc, which you can see highlighted in blue there, they have to target the closest ship. So these 2 will be firing at that corvette squadron, and then these guys will be firing at that corvette squadron here. So Wayne's got his Mac dice ready. They're going to concentrate fire on one of the squadrons. So
okay, so it's firepower 4.
Yep.
So I do get rerolls for my 2s there.
There are no negative modifiers at play because the corvette's cloaking system only kicks in at long range, and that is definitely not long range.
So that's 11.
Oh boy.
So that could kill it outright.
Yep.
I do get a Mac. So on a 2, I give a vulnerable token. Nope.
Yep. Because each ship has a Mac rating of 1 on its gun, when you add them together, that makes a total of Mac rating 3, which means on a 2, Wayne would inflict an automatic vulnerable marker, which would reduce my effective armor on each track by 1, and reduce my defensive rolls by 1 success after the dice are rolled. Which means that would go from pretty certainly dead to guaranteed dead. So, not bad for recruits actually. Now, 11 damage. The damage track of 443 means that he needs exactly 11 dice to go through to kill it outright. I get 2 dice of defense arrays, which are effectively the shields Covenant are known for, and neither of them successfully go off. So that damage rolls over for each track and wipes out the squadron.
Good old recruits.
I know, not bad for recruits, right? So, as these 2 declared their target, you have to declare your firing solutions before you roll any dice, and you have to declare all weapons at the same time. These 2 have already fired their missiles, which have nothing left to target, but this guy can still fire his missiles at these corvettes, and he might get lucky as well.
Okay, so because these guys are wasted, this guy's missiles are going to hit him. So he only has 2 dice, but not quite enough.
Nope, we've got a damage track of 4 on this guy, so Wayne's 3 doesn't quite cut it.
But still good for recruits.
Yep.
Okay, so these guys, following these really badass recruits, they're going to follow their lead and try and do the same.
Yeah, the recruits in those frigates set an example that cruiser just has to try and follow.
Yep, so he's going to turn, he's going to move up 7, and these guys are going to turn and move up to here.
Aggressive.
So they're going to pump all of their dice, both their Mac and their missiles into that Corvette.
Yep, because the missiles have to target the closest target, which is the Corvettes. Plus, they'll be pumping all their Mac dice into it to weaken it before they go in for the missiles. So, we'll go to the rolls in a second. So, we've got the Marathon here. Now, the Marathon has a heavy Mac, which generates 8 dice. So, Wayne will get a pool of 8 dice for the Marathon, plus 4 dice for the Arrowhead formation escorting it. So, he'll get a pool of 12 dice. Now, if you remember, this squadron got a Mac rating of 3 because each base had a Mac rating of 1, which totaled to 3 over all 3 of them. Because the Mac mounted on the Marathon Cruiser is heavier, it has a Mac rating of 2, which 2 plus 1 means that this attack will also occur at Mac rating 3. So they could wipe out the Corvette shields before they even get a chance to turn on. Not only that, but the Marathon Cruiser does have a damage token on it, which means that it will have to take 1 success away from its dice pool before I roll my defense rolls. So I might get lucky, but I think I'm going to be losing another Corvette squadron pretty soon.
Okay, so I'm going to roll the Cruiser's dice first, because it's an elusive target and I don't have a rule. I get -1 firepower, but I'm short range, so he doesn't have his stealth systems activated. Okay, so that was
not too great, and it's at -1 success because of the damage. Maybe the arrowheads will make an example again.
Yep, so these are 5 out of 4, so I do get rerolls. They didn't need it.
Okay. 5. And because you've inflicted enough damage to overcome my damage track, you get your Mac roll again. So on a 2, oh boy. So, these Corvettes take a vulnerable, which will affect their ability to both withstand that blast and actually defend against it. So, with that vulnerable token, its armor is now effectively 3-3-2. So, the 5 damage here isn't quite enough to go through 2 layers, but it will go through 1 quite comfortably unless I roll very nicely on the dice. I rolled 1 success, and the vulnerable marker also means I have to take 1 success from my dice pool. So, that Corvette takes a damage marker, and Wayne gets to roll for critical damage, which he does. So that Corvette takes another damage marker, which means its armor is now 2, nope, the first track's gone, so it's 2 and 1. So Wayne's follow-up missiles, if he inflicts at least 3 damage, will destroy those ships. It's not going to go off me, is it?
No.
No.
Dies,
yeah. Those Corvettes are facing down so much. I'm really going to have to rely on this cruiser to, pull the victory back. So, starting with my poor crippled Corvettes, Wayne is going to fire his complement of missile dice from his cruiser at Corvettes. Elusive means that this is at -1 firepower.
-1 success, so that's only 1.
Okay, let's see if the frigates do it again. So that's 2 damage. Now, because my armor is so weakened, that is actually enough to inflict damage if I don't make any successful rolls. Because Wayne has fired missiles against me, I do get to add my point defense dice into the dice pool, so I'll roll them first. They're at -2 successes, so I've rolled a dice pool of a 2 which explodes to make a 4, because all defensive rolls are made at firepower 4. So my 2 vulnerable markers mean I take 2 successes out of that, which leaves me with 2 successful defenses, taking away Wayne's entire dice pool, and meaning that those Corvettes hopefully live to the next turn. Okay, so it looks like the Covenant have paid for their aggression, whereas it's paid off for the UNSC. So, now that we move into the end phase, there's no carrier actions because we're not using wings, and there's no boarding actions because we're not using boarding craft, but we do have vulnerable markers to resolve. So the cadet engineers on board the UNSC are going to try and repair this. So on a 1, yep, they repair 1 token. Now my Corvettes have taken 2 vulnerable markers, so on a 1 they repair 1, on a 2 they'll repair both of them. But they don't repair any of them, because all the engineers are probably dead. Right, so I'm going to have to hope for the initiative next turn, otherwise I don't think the Covenant are going to last much longer in this. Right, so the initiative roll, this could decide whether I'm still round next turn or not, as Wayne will get to go first. So Wayne, roll your initiative. Wayne rolls a 5, okay. I roll a 1, so Wayne will be deciding which squadron he gets to go first, and will probably pound my Covenant ships into dust. I don't think this is going so well. You know, no. The Fall of Reach, I remember reading the book and, you know, the game, and it went very differently to this.
Yeah.
Man, these are
Aren't we meant to lose?
These are some fantastic cadets.
I know.
Okay, so this CCS is going to have to reclaim some honor for the Covenant Empire. So, it's going to move there. It does present its rear to the frigates, but they've already fired, so we don't have to worry about that. It's going to fire its short-range plasma cannons into this lead frigate. Hopefully get a little bit of revenge for how many corvettes those guys have killed. And it's also going to fire its plasma lance, which has an 18-inch short range, at the Marathon cruiser over there. So, we'll start with the smaller frigate at the front. Yep. He gets 9 dice, +1 firepower for being at short range, but -1 because they're elusive. So I'm on normal dice at firepower 4, which means I get a reroll for that too. So that is 6 damage against those lead frigates, and you get your titanium armor to defend against it.
Okay. So it's a 1.
So that goes down to 5, which stops us from going through 2 layers, and it doesn't take any critical damage.
Okay, so that was kind of lucky.
Very lucky for these recruits. Now, because I have to get, was it 4 points of build rating killed in order to win this scenario, the Marathon is worth 2 points. So you're looking at the corner there. Whereas these frigates are only worth 1. So if I manage to kill the Marathon, I'm halfway there. And all I have to do is cut down some frigates on the way off the table. If I'm lucky.
It's not worked well for you so far.
It's not worked very well for me at all. Right, so I get 12 dice of Plasma Lance at firepower 5. The Marathon has no cloaking system or elusive, so I'm not taking any debuffs.
Ooh,
so,
nice.
I think that's done it. So that's 6, 9,
oh yes,
12,
so this guy,
14. That's a reroll as well. Didn't do anything.
This guy's kaput.
Yeah, that guy is very much dead. So I'm halfway to victory, but I get the impression those frigates will be speeding off the table next turn, especially now that the cruiser's gone.
Yep.
So,
okay.
So the lonely arrowheads that were with the cruiser are last to activate. And they're going to make their move.
Yep, so they're going to turn, move up 10, and turn again.
Okay. They haven't got the, if you see here, the blue arc at the front, and that's their arc of fire for the Mac gun. So not quite an arc to target the CCS. They could target out of the white arcs with their broadside missiles, but they only get 2 dice, which can generate a maximum of 4 damage. And the CCS has a pretty hefty 8 damage, and that's before defensive rolls. So those arrowheads haven't got a chance of doing anything to that, not unless they all fight en masse. Right? It looks like you're speeding for the table edge there, doesn't it?
Yep, that's the
idea. Just an impression there.
We've done enough killing for now.
Yeah, those apparently Spartan cadets on board these frigates have taken their toll. If I don't get activation next turn, I suspect that whole squadron's going to be off the board, and I won't be able to get a victory point. Unless, actually, no, if I kill that guy, I'll deny you the victory, and that's just as good, isn't it?
It's a draw.
Right, well, we'll see. There's no vulnerable markers to repair, so we'll go straight into the initiative roll. Wayne rolled a 2. I rolled a 6. So, the CCS is going first.
Okay, so with the Covenant having an initiative, it's obviously the CCS first.
Because that's all I've got left. Now, the CCS is going to use its glide roll. It gets to glide 4 inches. So that means it moves sideways without turning the full distance. So I'm going to move it that way, which opens up the arc of fire for this guy and this guy. First off, we're going to use our plasma cannons to try and finish off these guys. 9 dice, +1 firepower for short-range plasma, -1 for elusive. And I failed to kill him.
Yep.
So that inflicts 1 point of damage and a point of critical damage. So those cruisers are limping out, but they are still there. Let's see if I can get lucky and finish off these guys. So, got firepower rating 4, so 2s do explode. So I get no additional effects. That's 8.
Okay, so I get titanium armor, and I stop 3.
Which leaves me with 5. So again, that's enough to save the second layer of armor. Critical?
Yep.
Nope. But that's 2 wounded but not dead frigates.
Okay.
And they'll be running away next time.
Oh yes.
Like cowards.
Okay, so on to the UNSC.
Right, so both of the factions have their movement tricks. You saw the glide roll last turn, which lets Covenant sort of shuffle side to side rather than actually move forward. The UNSC have a rule called hard burn, which means that rather than being able to move side to side, they can choose if they go straight forward without turning to get a bonus to movement. And Wayne's going to use that to escape the table. So, his Paris class frigates have a hard burn rating of 3 inches, so they get to add that onto their 10-inch movement for a total of 13 inches that should take most of them off the table.
Yep, so that's going to take these ones and these ones off the table.
Alright.
Leaving this one right there.
Okay, so
2 victory points to me.
2 victory points to him.
We are currently tied.
I've managed to kill a marathon, which gives 2 victory points to me. And obviously that ends their activation.
Yep.
This guy's arcs of fire can't touch the CCS. So next up,
This guy, he's going to hard burn as well. He's going to fly right up to here.
alright. So, if I get initiative, I might still have a chance of clawing it back, but if not, Wayne's quite easily going to escape the table. So, straight into the initiative roll again. Wayne rolled a 2, and I rolled a 6. So, that CCS, can it take down both of them? It didn't do it last turn, but it might get lucky this turn.
Okay.
Right, so this cruiser's going to glide 4 inches back that way, bringing both these guys into arc.
Yep.
Now, I've got to make the tough choice. Do I concentrate fire and basically try and guarantee myself a kill, which means that 3 victory points each will draw, or do I split my fire, have less chance of killing each one, but if I do kill both of them, I win and you lose?
It's a hard choice.
I think I'm going to split fire, because it'll be funny.
Ooh, risky.
So, first off, plasma cannon rays are going to target these guys,
Okay.
and the lance is going to target these guys.
Okay.
So we're at short range for both, firepower rating of 4, and I immediately regret my decision.
Yep. So titanium armor.
Yep, so it does 1 point of damage, which is basically irrelevant. These guys, 12 dice of plasma lance.
Will this give you the draw?
Can't even hold all these dice. 2, that is 7, and I get 2 rerolls because of those 2s. 9, right, so if you completely fail your titanium armor.
So if I save one of these, I win. And I did. So he takes 2 points of damage, but
Does it get critical? Doesn't matter anyway. Does that guy get critical? Nah.
so I think we should just call it there because this guy's just going to hard burn, he's going to turn and fly off.
And he can comfortably make it.
Yeah. So that was mission 1 called Flight. I think we're going to play through another couple today and we'll see you in the next video. So just click handshake and then see you next time, guys.